Hello everyone and welcome back to another Magical Moon video. We're down in the Legends barn and as you can see I'm with Queenie. I've just got back from that very exciting ride with the BFG. It's now Queenie's turn. We're just going to answer a few questions and I'm going to explain exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be the first time she's been ridden at the Magical Moon farm. So let's do it. As I said, this is the first time Queenie's going to be ridden here. I have previously ridden her at her old home and it was a really good experience. I started her off under saddle and I've probably ridden her 2 or 3 times and she was very, very receptive. She's such a kind, sweet-natured horse. She's had the perfect start in life and it's really important to continue that, but we just needed to go into a little bit of technical detail. We're not going to go into it too much, but I just want to explain. A lot of you have asked about why do horses need or have bits in their mouth. And as you've seen, I've ridden BFG with a bit, and Cantho I've ridden with a bridle, without a bridle, on a head collar. I've ridden him bareback, and he's old and he's wise, but when they start off, when you're starting their journey, it's important to make a decision what you think is going to be the best for them, depending on what their future is. Now, many horses I've started off under saddle and they've gone on to professional careers. And those riders, those professionals have taken them on and they've wanted to have them ridden away under saddle but with a bit in their mouth. And I'm just going to explain quickly the difference. This is a traditional, it's called a snaffle, and back in the day it was what everyone started horses off with, and it was the go-to bit. And as you can see, it sits in their mouth and it actually forms this nutcracker action. I actually mentioned this when we started with Captain Jack Sparrow and with Rupert. It's actually not that kind. It puts pressure on either side of their jaw and it also can go into the roof of their mouth. So things have evolved as with everything, and now we're into the more modern day, and what I like to think of as a much kinder option is a jointed bit. Now this is just an example. It has 2 sides which help guide the horse left and right, but it also has this joint in the middle, and as you can see it's impossible to form that nutcracker action, so it's a lot kinder and a lot softer. What we're going to do with Queenie is we're going to do away with the bits, and I'm hopefully going to be able to ride her in a bitless bridle, and this is called a hackamore, which I'm just going to show you now. And so it sits down and it forms part of the noseband, and it has these bars on the side, and this is the bit that goes on the bottom of her jaw, and hopefully it will just be for me to be able to guide her left and right. But more importantly, we had Christian, our equine dentist, come out, and he noticed she's got a couple of wolf teeth which are very close to where the traditional bit would sit. So as the bit sits in the mouth sideways on, the actual first tooth, there's a little tiny wolf tooth, which is very common in younger horses, well, in lots of horses. He noticed them and he said, depending on, again, what you want to do with her in the future, how you're going to ride her away, whether she's going to have a bit, she would need to have those removed. This is going to be a much kinder option. However, that isn't always the case, and that's something really important because people, through experience, many years of experience, it's easy to think that a bit is cruel. And as I explained when I was riding the BFG, you might see in that previous episode when Nick rides the explosive BFG, I was talking about the security that horses get, especially horses that are experienced in having a bit. They get that connection, that support, that comfort from being held. They like that security. However, you can train them off the bit and you can let them off. And as I said, you can ride them without a bit or in a head collar with a rope. Even nothing, depending on how brave you are. But this is a really good option for us to start off with Queenie, so that's what I'm going to use today. We're just going to see how it goes. Everything we do now is uncharted territory in lots of ways, but we're going to share it with you. Enjoy the video. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So a very productive first outing, and it is going to take a bit of getting used to for me and for her, but just gently just trying to guide her. And the beautiful thing about the hackamore or the bitless bridle, it's more about your body and your legs and your seat, guiding them where you want them to go. And of course you use your hands to ease them in that, well, the right direction. And the less is more, which is always the case. And as she gets more and more used to that feeling, it's going to become easier and easier, and then we'll be able to really get riding her away. But just to have a little trot and her feel the weight on her back again and that movement, and that's what it's all about. As I said before, she's completely at ease with any humans being around her. It's from her early years with Sadie, who's done a fantastic job, completely unspoiled, such a loving, gentle horse. And that enabled me in those very early first few rides to just be able to really, in essence, get on her. And we hacked out with you there, and Jenny shared those clips before, and she can also, if she's got a moment, put a bit on the end so you can see her before and after now. But the future is really bright, and I can't wait to get her ridden away and cantering through those fields and exploring the world. And it gives them so much more freedom. It's a very interesting thing, actually, that someone once said to me, horses ridden inevitably in this day and age have a lot more freedom than the unridden horses. So they can go out, she can go out and explore, we can go anywhere. The world is our oyster, and you know, with that in mind, it's exciting times ahead. And some of you have asked what's happened to the other horses that were with Queenie and Udea, and they're fine. They're all together and living the next stage of their life. But it's been another really good experience. It's always lovely to catch up, and of course with BFG. We're going to go now, and we've got a little update, a very special update from an expectant mother. Good girl. So here we are, we're with Annabelle, and some of you might notice, you eagle-eyed viewers, from the front she looks pretty much as she always did, but moving further back there's definitely a lack of hair. And that's because ever since she came, she's never really been, as you know, we brought her in, or you may not know, we brought her in with her daughter Alice, because compared to the other two donkeys, they needed a little bit more intensive care. She's never really blossomed, and then obviously to find out that she was expecting, that she was pregnant, was another whole chain of events. But as I said, the vet has been with her, she's been under her care ever since she's arrived with us. It was just the other week when we noticed she's always got kind of really dry, irritated skin, and you might have seen Jenny shaving all that big matted, felted hair off, which was really restricting her, along with her daughter Alice. And that helped to a degree, but she never really cleared up. Her skin condition never really improved massively, and all types of treatments didn't really seem to get on top of it. So a couple of weeks ago when Morgan was here, the vet, we made a decision to, what is the most bizarre thing in the world, to actually shave that hair completely off. But what it enabled us to do was really get into the nitty gritty of it. And since then, she started to improve. Their coat is so dense, it's so intertwined. The top is very loose and long, and they have those Rastafarian looking dreadlocks, but underneath it is very, very restrictive. And now she's free of that. So not very long and she's going to have a baby which will probably have more hair than what she's got. But in the meantime, she's doing really well. She's keeping her condition. She's going out on the grass, and we've made her a special area. And you see these makeshift curtains we put up just to keep a little bit of warmth in there for her at night. It gives her a bit of security. It's really nice and cozy. Now it's just a case of keeping everything crossed, and hopefully we're privileged enough to get the moment. And as you remember, or you might remember with Sweet Pea, we missed the moment with Tiny Tim being born, but we've got a little camera up in the corner there, a little baby monitor, and it pings whenever there's any action. We've just now got we're always keeping an eye on it. So yeah, fingers crossed we can share that moment with you. And on that note, I'm going to say, stay magical, and we'll see you next time. You're a good girl.